Hello, and thank you to Outdoor Institute to let me make this talk. Thank you to Heiko and Pelle. My name is Simon Høegmark, and I have a master degree in nature science, and I have a PhD in nature psychology. I have a company called Natur, who help healthcare sectors, education institute, and workplaces with the benefit of nature, both employers and leaders, and we also help companies with a more green profile. You can see here what the activity we are doing in nature, but I will start with a short story from my own life. I have felt on my own body how nature can help. Some years ago, I was in the middle of a life crisis. My son was getting very sick. I was in the middle of a divorce, and I was very pressed at work. You know it all. I have lost direction in life. I have felt that my life was meaningless, and I decided to do something. And I decided to take to Norway to hike. I took my son home to my mother. He was okay. And I traveled to Norway and I hiked there for 3 days. And the last day I have struggled for many hours, but in the afternoon I reached the top of the mountain in 1,500 pitch, and with a view over the valley. And the sky was gray with heavy clouds. But suddenly, I felt that I could relax. My mind and my body starting to just calm down. And the sun broke through, and the sunlight hit my face and enlightened the landscape. And it all became incredibly beautiful. And I begin to see things in a brighter perspective. Totally overwhelmed, I leaned back on the rock to rest. I stayed there for a long time, and I started to feel the power from the mountain. And I also had a feeling of not being alone anymore, but being connected to something greater. I had a feeling of peace, gratefulness, and meaning. Feeling I had not felt for a very long time. And I began to see a small light in the dark, and I started to feel hope. And I knew that I have to change direction, and I knew that nature was the key to my problems, both to help myself, to help all other people, and to make a better world. And today we have the main problems today is the climate changes and the mental health problems. Mental health problems have been the biggest pandemic we have in the world today. And it's very difficult to deal with the climate changes if you have mental health problems. The biggest theory about the benefit of nature, being in nature, is called biophilia. And the biophilia theory is made by a scientist called Edward Wilson. Edward Wilson, they have inspired the movie Avatar, if you know it. And he says we have the same instinct, the same emotions, the same feelings as we have when we lived in nature at the savannah for many years ago. If you imagine that we are traveling 300,000 years back in time. There's standing a woman looking at a lake. The sun is setting. There's an orange glow in the sky. The cloud is drifting by. Some bird is taking off from the water. And a breeze coming from the savannah. And she's feeling it all. And she's looking down to her hands and she says, "My God, I exist." We have exactly the same body and mind, but we live in a completely different world, in a more complex world with a lot of more informations. But we have still the same emotions, the feelings and instincts. We still like animals, plants, and living systems. And when we are in nature, we are adapted to save energy and build up and recover. So when we are in nature, we build up body and mind. But the biggest problem today, one of the big problems we have today, is that we are indoors in 93% of the time. And it confuses our basic emotions. We have some basic emotions as that's very important, as joy and interest. It's very important to show joy and interest for other people in a group, to bond with them. And we have also some negative emotions, for example, sadness, fear, and anger. And it was very important to survive when we lived in nature. If there was coming a lion, you have to feel fear. If we have lost someone is dying, you have to feel sadness and show sadness. And if the enemy is coming, you have to feel angry to defend your family. But we are developed to navigate and to the seasons and to the weather conditions. And our arousal system is navigating and save energy combined with nature. But when we are indoors all the time, our basic emotions get confused and come in wrong situations. For example, if we are shopping and when we are at work and when we are at home, and it breaks down body and mind. But when we are in nature, we get more positive feelings. The nature is not judging us. We can see when we are in nature, our basic emotions is falling on place. And when we have more positive feelings, we also boost our immune system, and it helps our mental health. We have two kinds of attention. We have focused attention, which we use when we are planning, when we are analyzing, and when we are thinking systematic, when we are on smartphones, on social medias, when we are walking in big cities, when we are analyzing, is there danger anywhere? We are using a lot of energy when we are in the focused attention. The other kind is spontaneous attention, which we use when we relax and when we are calm and we are creative and when we are in nature. The two kinds of attention need to be balanced. But the problem today is that we are in the focused attention 80% of the time. And it's why we have stress, anxiety, and depression in the modern world. Many scientists say. The places in nature that's giving us more recovering is called supporting environment. It's beautiful nature. It's nature that have a high biodiversity, places we can feel there is food and water, places we feel we can hide, places we can have view so we can see if they're coming in enemies, places we feel peacefulness. And when we are in this kind of places, we can feel it and we can let it go and we can recover. Just to be in nature have some health benefit. We know the sun is giving us vitamin D, giving us the hormone serotonin, make us more happy. And we like the colors blue for the water. It is food when there's water. And we like the color green because there's also food and we can hide. And if they are green, we know there is water. And we like the pattern in nature. We call it nature fractals, and it calms our nerve system. And we like the sound from the birds. And we like the sounds from the water, and we like the sounds from the wind blowing in the treetops. It calms our nerve system. And just to be and feel the nature, the soil bacteria, the bacteria, mycobacteria vacca, is boosting our immune system, giving us more natural killer cells, and it is giving us a better immune system. And we know the trees is produce a stuff called phytoncider. When we inhale this stuff, we also activate us and calm the nerve system. As I have told you in the start, I have developed a scientific method to work with nature-based interventions to the benefits of nature. And the method is built on 4 pillars: nature and the body and the mind and the community. And the first pillar is called nature, and it's how we can reconnect to nature, feeling inspired by nature, the aesthetic in nature, the atmosphere in nature, the space in nature. We have to have more nature experience. The body pillar is that we have to have a better body awareness, and when we are in nature, we get a better body awareness. It's very important to be have physical activities in nature, but also calm activities as silent walking, as qigong, as breathing exercises and sensory stimulations. The mind pillar is that when we are in nature, we know that the mind relaxes, and we can better find solutions in nature. We make outdoor sittings, aesthetic exercises, and different kind of nature meditations. And the 4th pillar is the community. It's very important. When we are in nature, we can better show and feel empathy for other people in a group. The hierarchies in nature is not so important. We can better find the best possible solutions together in a group when we are in nature. We can better work together for a goal. And the best way to show or to share ideas is storytelling about knowledge and how we can help each other. When all the 4 pillars are activated at the same time, we can have a feeling of not being happy or sad, but have a feeling of being okay. And we called this place Time Warp, where time stands still, and it's the best way where our body and mind can recover. Remember, we are nature, and when we reconnect to nature and feeling the changes in seasons and the changes in weather conditions, we can be inspired by nature and feel hope and new possibilities for ourselves and for other people and for the world. And that's what I experienced at the top of the mountain. Thank you very much.